Hey, welcome back on the Good Morning Artesia radio show. And we had, Jeffrey had the picture of the statue, the bronze sculpture of Johnny Gray and Mac Chase, leaning over the hood of the pickup truck talking business or whatever. And I was looking at that for the Frisbee golf and thinking, hey, here's how the target could be situated.
So for everyone out there listening, remember he said he was thinking about it. So
I realize that's not a good idea downtown. Get that squared away. And then Jeff was talking about some of the champion Frisbee golf places that are around. You were mentioning some of them. So maybe that, it'd be another thing that would attract people to Artesia and bring some folks
Well, and
in
that's
town.
the goal is obviously whatever we're putting in, how does this help not only just Artesians? I mean, obviously we want folks here to be able to go play and have fun and obviously trying to promote. I think with COVID you learned that you want to be outside, you want to have things to do, and so trying to put a focus on that and giving those options, because you hear it all the time, folks say, well, there's nothing to do. Well, I would argue that also. I mean, there is a ton to do here in town as is, but we want to make sure we add some fun stuff or that other folks are doing, and I know a lot of the youth are playing this Frisbee golf, especially when they go to college. It's a big thing up there, and so when they come back, it'd be kind of fun to have your own little course to come play on and do stuff on, and but what other ideas are out there? And so we're really working on what's the next thing as well. But whatever we put in, how does that not only help the city, but could it possibly bring people in? Pickleball was another one that they were showing us tournaments that Cruces and all these other towns have, and there's a lot of folks that come in for these tournaments, that play, they stay the night, and then they go home. So that helps bring revenue for the restaurants, that brings revenue for the hotels, and
and that's a big goal for generating revenue and jobs for the community. Well, and there's a lot of different quality of life things that the city supports and other people support. You've got the library and the Performing Arts Center downtown. The Aquatic Center is a huge improvement. There's a lot of parks in town. There's youth baseball, there's softball that takes place, and you've mentioned this, and Louis mentioned this before, a lot of plans for J.C. Park to enhance that. You've got the walking path around Eagle Draw, which is really nice. I don't know if that's ever going to get extended out to
that's the goal. That's in the scope of hopes of soon to take it all the way out to J.C. Park. So
and we have such good weather. I say good weather. We do have our occasional dust storms and dirt storms and stuff like that, but most of the year you can take advantage of some of these outdoor type activities. At some point or the other, right? I mean, in July you probably don't want to do the walking path at noon, but in the evenings and in the mornings it's beautiful. I mean, that's the one great thing that I think some people don't know if you've never lived like when I lived in Dallas, it could be midnight and still be over 100 degrees because it's just miserable there all the time. And here we get the cool downs and it's nice to get out and enjoy those. And so it is, you're right, with the draw, still been running there quite a bit, and I've just noticed the traffic, especially now that it's really pretty in the evenings. The traffic out there has just really increased. Lots of people walking, and that's what you want to see. You want to see people out there doing community, right? Because some of them are families, but a lot of them I see groups of ladies or groups of families or groups of different, and I think that's exactly right. That's why we have these things, so you have a place to go, meet, have fun, talk, get some exercise, and or whatever it is you're doing. And you mentioned the library and all that. I think we've got a good mix, and we're trying to continue to enhance those and not just say, okay, we're good. Because I don't think that's the right approach. You can't be good, but the things we add, we just want to make sure it adds value to the city as well as can generate that, hopefully bring in some fun stuff. Martin Luther King Park is a park that there's been a lot of things added there. There's the skate park that's there. The splash pad.
Yes.
What would have been the city's discussions on what to do with the splash pad?
We've been working really hard on the splash pads. There's three options that we're kind of looking at now. One of them's a really cheap option to fix, but we don't know what that means. So if we fix it for, I think it was $4,000 or $5,000, that fix might last a season, and that fix literally might last 10 minutes. We just have no idea once it's pressurized. The next fix was quite a bit more. It's probably around 100, 150, and that goes in and really fixes it. You're going to have a lot
Is that like 150,000?
150,000, yeah.
Okay, so we went from 5,000.
Yeah. So because you're cutting into the splash pad, you're having to go down. So that is a lot of work. But then, unfortunately, the board out there that kind of controls it all is an antique, and so they don't have it anymore. They don't support it anymore. So when that goes out, even with that fix, that goes away. So, you know, the next fix, which is a substantial, just rip it all out and put a new one in, and that's going to run close to $300,000.
Okay.
And I know that's a ton of money, obviously, and we don't want to just go spend a ton of money. I know there's folks out there that are like, oh, they do spend money. That's not what we're doing, but we need to understand what it would take to, what direction we need to go, and if we go that direction, what it would cost. So that puts a new splash pad. The good thing about that is you get new pumps, new equipment that's up to date. So in the past, when we were told we need lifeguards, it's not necessarily we needed lifeguards, but because of the way that pumps work now, it reuses. So you have to be out there on a regular basis checking the chlorine and everything else. Where if we got this new system, kind of what you see in Carlsbad, Roswell, and a lot of other cities that are putting them in later, the system is monitored by your phone. You still have to go check it, but it's not as often. So you don't have an attendant sitting there to make sure it's right. You can come on a little less regular basis. So plus
Okay.
then they would add that push button thing to where when you walk up, you hit a button, it comes on, and I don't know, 20, 30, whatever the time is, it goes back off. So,
Okay.
you know, lots of good options. But yeah, MLK is getting a lot of discussion right now because I see it as one of those, like a JC Park, but right in the middle of town. It's one that you could really have some really fun family gatherings or just neighborhood gatherings where kids all, and I think that's what, and maybe it's like the Mayberry dream, right? But I love when you, in those old shows, when you see all the kids out playing in the park and having fun, kickball, football, whatever their games they're playing. And I don't know, MLK could really be that park for us. You know, you got a skate park, you got, and the more families are using it, the more likely the folks that aren't using it properly would go somewhere else, hopefully. And because I know that's, well, you know, there's okay, well, that's everywhere. But if you got a lot of good families and a lot of fun happening there, sometimes that takes care of itself, hopefully. But you got a basketball court there.
There's a nice
cleaning
pavilion
up that
there.
nice pavilion, cleaning up that sand volleyball court a little bit and making some borders to where the grass doesn't come in. And we could have a really, really cool, fun park right in the middle of town, in the middle of a bunch of neighborhoods that could kind of feed into it really easily. So, you know, to the splash pad, I know a lot of folks said, well, you know, you got the pool, just go use the pool. Well, the pool isn't always what people are opting for that day. You know, sometimes you just want to go out and have a picnic, and your one kid wants to go skateboarding, and the other one likes to play and the other one, little one, wants to run through water. Okay, well, that's all of a sudden you can go to one place and get that all done. So
Yeah.
it's not because we're trying to replace the pool or compete with the pool, or it's a completely separate group that would probably use the pool on a Monday and might use the splash pad on a Tuesday because
Yeah.
they don't want to go get the full
Well,
pool.
the other thing about that park too is it neighbors some school facilities. So you've got
Yeah.
the high school baseball field and soccer complex, and the softball fields are all adjacent to that
Right.
to that park area. So
Yeah, and you have a school right across the street. I mean, you got the hospital. So you've got a lot of stuff there. And, you know I've done the hospital thing where you've got someone in there and you just kind of want to go walk. So if you had a really nice place to walk, and there's a ton of great potential we have there that
Yeah.
I think we're gonna take good advantage of, and hopefully make it another park that I think we be proud of it now, but let's get everything working
Well,
or
you-
get rid of it.
Sure, and you've got look at what was done at Jamaica Park.
Oh yeah, what a great park.
Improve that. Are there other parks around that are getting discussion, or that you
Yeah,
hear
so
from?
we have a big park plan, and so there's a couple coming up pretty quick. As soon as it gets finalized, I'll definitely let you know. But yeah, they're going to continue. Of course, the PY Foundation helps a lot with that. Thank goodness for them. So in fact, Byron met with them, I think, this week to kind of go over that some more. So hopefully we'll have some more good park stuff coming out. And with their help, obviously, I've said it a number of times, the city has put a major contribution in this year as well to parks. And so we want to partner with them and not just put the burden on them. We want to actually try to help as well. So we're excited about that. I think they're excited. Hopefully we're going to get some good stuff done. And
good. Because there's a lot of parks around town, and you probably
a lot of parks.
Probably couldn't name all of them. I'm just off the top of my head. There's Jamaica, Central, MLK,
yeah,
JC,
and the one out on 33rd.
Yeah. What is that one called? But I know which one you're talking
we just
about.
Talked about it, and I can't remember the name.
Yeah, and then there's this little one on Roselawn where it turns.
Yeah.
Is that an actual park, or is that just a grassy area?
I should know this answer because we just talked about it. In all honesty, maybe 2 weeks ago, Byron was telling me about that. I can't remember what he said, but yeah, there's that one, and they're everywhere. I mean, we're very lucky to have the parks we do, and I love the neighborhood parks. You know, you said Jamaica, and when you go by there, it's fun to go see that that's being well utilized. Central is being Center.
Central, the one right over here.
Central, gosh, is being really utilized. I've seen a lot of groups out there. When I was out checking JC Park the other day, we're putting in some new hangers, right, or new covers, whatever, over the tables, and so I went out there to look at them, and gosh, there was probably 5 or 6 different. Looks like they had a big party or something out there, and I thought this is great. Everything is being used, and looks like they're using it well. I mean, it's not just a one-off. I mean, on a regular basis, when I'm driving around these parks, they're heavily used, and so that's what we want. We want to make sure, okay, we're putting these investments in. What's happened? Oh, okay, it is paying off because people seem to enjoy it.
We've got about 2 minutes left. Is there anything else from the meeting, or anything else you'd like to?
No, just lots and lots of stuff going on Artesia for the next couple of days. Obviously, you mentioned the career fair today, so that's exciting. I know there will be a lot of activity there. Lots of city booths there to help with, and lots of folks from around town. Red Dirt Black Gold, another huge event that's always exciting to have in town, and so those that say there's nothing to do, there's always something to do. There's plenty going on this weekend for sure. So
that's right. Somebody told me there's a football game Friday night too, so you may want to go to that.
Yeah, there's a football game, and that looks like that's going to probably be pretty good. So it's always fun to go watch that game. So
yeah, well, let's hope the bugs have already hatched and that they don't come down to Artesia and that turns into a big. Scary thing there.
Yeah, it is. It's
vector control. You guys need to be ready.
Yeah, exactly. Call vector control early and spray often. So
we'll have a ginormous bug zapper, and we'll just kind of lower that down into the stadium, and they'll all go away, and then we'll continue.
If someone out there knows how to deal with mosquitoes in your yard, I sure would like to know, because I bought every contraption there is on Earth,
right?
and nothing seems to be working. I still get eaten alive. So
it's that time of year, so
I know.
Make sure folks don't have tires and trash, and they keep their lawns mowed and all that good stuff, and that'll help.
That helps.
Sure.
So,
good deal.
Good. Well, enjoy Artesia, and hopefully everyone has a fun time this weekend.
All right. Thanks, Mayor John Henry. Appreciate you being here.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
We'll probably see you around this weekend. That's going to be it for the 8 o'clock